So today we are going to go over the science fair timeline. We're going to look at the date Friday, February 19th. That's coming up, and it's pages 11 through 13. Testing the experiment or developing a prototype. In this section, you will be graphing. So with that being said, we're going to take a look at our S.T.E.M Fair booklet. This is an example of a data table that your students must complete. However, they do not need to have 10 trials. But with that being said, the more trials that you complete, the better your data or more valid your data will be in your entire experiment. So we're going to start with moving our Post-it notes over. For data collection, when I changed what measurement of observation resulted. So what I will change, going along with our experiment, is soil. What I will measure is the number of beans that have grown. So we're going to take a look at our example of the data table. So this would be the number of lima beans after 1 month. We'll start with the items that are tested. Trial 1, Trial 2, Trial 3, and Trial 4. We would like to see at least 4 trials completed on your student's project. In this section, we'll be talking about the average number of trials. So you'll notice here that we have our 3 types of soil that we used. We have Miracle Grow, we have Magic Soil, and we have Green Living on our data table. So for Trial 1, we averaged 23. Trial 2, we averaged 27. For Trial 3, we averaged 30. And for Trial 4, we averaged 20.
So these are all the Miracle Grow. So now we're going to take those and average what our Miracle Grow did across those 4 trials.
So when I average, in previous years, it was called finding the mean. So what you have to do is add all 4 trial numbers together and divide by 4, which is the number of total trials that was completed. So when we average Miracle Grow, we're going to get an average of 25. Next, we'll look at Magic Soil. Trial 1, we had 29. Trial 2, we had 23. Trial 3, we had 38. And Trial 4, we had 24. So when I add 29, 33, 38, and 24 together, and then divide that total number, I get 31. So now I'm going to show you how to fill in the green living portion, just to make sure that this information is crystal clear for you and your child. So during the first trial, we got 18. During the second trial, we got 21, excuse me. For the next one, we got 20 for number 3, and for trial 4, we got a total of 13.
So in this, we're counting the number of lima beans, because that's what our experiment was. So that's the number you're seeing here. There were 18 lima beans in trial 1, and so on.
So we're going to add 18 plus 21, the total, plus 20, 20, and 13. We're going to add all of them up and divide by, once again, 4. The average of all trials is going to be 18. So, with this part done, now you can go into the graphing section of choice. You can choose what kind of graph you would like to do, but since our data is just on the average, we are going to use a bar graph. So when we take a look at our bar graph, we have the title, a number of lima beans after 1 month. We are looking at just this number here. We have number of lima beans overall with our graph set up. And we've already done Miracle Grow. As we've said previously, the average we got for the Miracle Grow soil was 25. So next I'm going to do Magic Soil. Magic Soil gave us about 31 overall beans. So I'm going to do it in a different color, just so my graph will be nice and clear for people who are reading it. I'm going to quickly fill in that bar and write the average on top. Next, for green living soil, our average total number of beans that were grown is about 18. So you can clearly see the difference between the three soils here. So we have 25 for Miracle Grow, we have 31 for Magic Soil, and we have Green Living included in the bar graph. And you can easily see that the best soil for our particular lima bean experiment was Magic Soil. It allowed us to grow 31 lima beans in 1 month.
So we told you at the beginning that there were two different types of data tables. So if we go ahead and look back at our book, you're going to find on pages 12 and 13 that you can see the two types. On page 12, you're going to have the line graph. A line graph would be used if you were testing results over a period of time so that you could show the growth over time, things like that. So if our experiment had looked instead at in 1 month, in 2 months, in 3 months, we might have chosen to use this line graph on page 12. Here you see that we're just going to take our sticky notes again, and we're going to put them up here, the number of beans, and then across the x-axis we're going to put our soil. And already we've got our labels for them. Then again, we showed you a bar graph, but this is how they set it up in your STEM booklet on page 13. Again, you would just pull your sticky notes. When I change the soil, what happened to the number of lima beans? And that's how you would complete it.
If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to reach out to your child's teacher. We are always here to help. One thing that I want to remind you is make sure that your student is labeling your graph completely. That would be a huge issue if it was not labeled correctly.
So we need to label the title, the X and Y axis, and give details with in our case it was the number of lima beans, but if you're measuring a specific measurement, it needs to have what measures you're using.